week on Hot Scores, I look at the European transfer markets, being nice to Suarez and famous football fans. During the second half of the Champions League qualifiers, and after I'd done some work in the morning, I switched on Sky Sports News and found out I would be watching City and United on Thursday nights in the Europa League.
Hey.
Bonus! On to the serious stuff now. This Gusting one wants to know what I think would happen to the European transfer market if the Eurozone were to implode. Great question. We've seen that a deep recession has had no impact on how money is exchanged in football. For example, if Real Madrid and Bankia, who lent them the money to buy Kaká and Ronaldo, went bust, the European Central Bank would own the players. Ronaldo has already been used as an £80 million worth of collateral by Bankia as part of their rescue plan. As so many clubs are in debt, it could end up that the banks or central banks end up owning all the players, and in the event of a crash, they would effectively become public property. Wouldn't that be great? Although, as we know, when banks crash, we have little to say in what happens afterwards. So there will be no telling what the ECB will do with Ronaldo when it all goes tits up.
Shooting.
After Saturday night, maybe he deserves it. Where there are figures, there are always smart people to patch them up and make them work for rich and powerful organisations. Football itself is a currency these days. Matt wants to know if I can be nice about Suarez. On this one, I'll give with one hand and take away with the other. Very much what Luis Suarez does on the field. I don't think that any of us are in doubt about his impact in the danger zone, but his conversion rate hasn't exactly been glittering. You know, that header against QPR might open the floodgates though. As far as how affable he is, majority rules, and I'm sitting with them. Look at El Clasico on Saturday night. They were going down like paper card houses in San Francisco. Maybe it's a cultural thing, and the dislike that some share over here towards Suarez has got nothing to do with Liverpool. It's just about him. Plus, that look on his face has no endearing qualities, is it? Complete arrogance, never ever attractive. Look at how Mourinho's going on. Once a revered eccentric, and now he looks like he has an eternally free prescription for Bendtner. You know, Suarez still got to settle into the Premier League, and if he starts scoring more, I'm sure the tune will change. Subscene Records wants to know if I think England's Euro group is harder than it seems. Well, one thing we all know is how different things actually are when the tournament begins, compared to friendlies and past results. The whole dynamic of the travel, media sideshow and pressure of intense competition can change anything. I'd say Fabio should go for a completely pragmatic approach, watertight from the defence forward and aim for low scoring results, unless the game opens up naturally and dictates a wider and more open play. It would be awful if England lost to Ukraine or Sweden through some stupid mistake and then put in a good show against France. In an ideal world, I think England should have been drawn in a group with Spain, on red alert from day one, and I'd say they're going to finish top of the group, but it doesn't need to be pretty football. It needs to be efficient and anchored with exceptional focus. Look, the Euros have thrown up some strange winners in the past, so you never know. Famous football fans, we love it when the cameras pan over and we see a well-known face. Goran Ivanisevic at West Brom, Anton Dek, or I don't know where they're from, is it Biker Grove or something like that?
Which one's which?
I really don't know which one is
Ant's on the left.
We've got Liam Gallagher, David Baddiel, Rafael Nadal, Stu Francis from Crackerjack. Yes, he's a Bolton fan, so I've heard. Right, I'm going to travel northwest a bit and look at Bolton. They have an envious roll call of famous names and they need cheering up after going rock bottom and losing to Villa on Saturday. So maybe Dave Spikey, Paddy McGuinness or Fiona Allen could tell him a joke or two. Or would a big smile from Byrne and Kane bring cheer to Owen Kyle's gloomy heart?
Or a text message.
Villa fans, I know you're not happy with Alex McLeish and I hear you. The football's a bit dull and rigid, but you're 8th. And you did lose a few big names in the transfer window. I know you're still hungover from having McLeish as your manager, but, you know, would Hughes really have been more exciting? Really? Right, back to Bolton and their famous fans. Yes, they have London's burning and EastEnders heartthrob Paul Nicholls. BBC Broadcasting Queen Victoria Derbyshire and the lovely Emma Forbes and Amir Khan. Impressive. Now, I hope he was laughing out of being nervous, but if not, it was pretty rotten. Nick Bendtner, photograph of him having a giggle during Gary Speed's memorial celebrations. Thanks to Brian Duran 56, who was Weakest Link winner and is a Liverpool fanatic. Mr. Darren Buckley wants to start a campaign to get Gary Neville back on Twitter. I'm thinking Gary Neville seems to be doing quite fine without it at the moment, as he puts in such a great shift in the tactical analysis department. I bet he secretly spies on the timelines though, just to see how much love there is for him. And there is a lot of it from where I'm sitting. I would like to point you all in the direction of Huddo Hudson's site ganninaway.co.uk. His reporting on the Eternal Derby in November was brilliant. FK Kvena Sveda 0, FK Partisan 2. Got some video clips for you now. Could you imagine scenes like this in the British ground? You can't even bring in a can of lager, but you're allowed a hot coffee. The deadly pyrotechnics go off as the players enter the pitch. You know, I wouldn't fancy playing 90 minutes on lawns full of smoke. You know, and who says a running track kills the atmosphere? Well, Charlie Adam has lost his central midfield partner in Lucas Leiva, out for the rest of the season with one of the big bad boy injuries, anterior cruciate ligament damage. It seems like bad news for everyone, club, fan and neutral, as Lucas is such a great player to watch, so smart and connected to his position. Brilliant. I follow him on Twitter at LucasLeiva87, and there have been floods of support and get well soon messages on his timeline. I know our Raul will echo those sentiments.
Absolutely. Top boy. Top boy.
He says he will come back stronger and hopes to achieve everything he can in a red shirt. Now, on the Hot Scores retrospective, we have Ian Wright
Right.
in a nutshell. I know how Dave doesn't mind a bit of Wrighty, and until my car stereo broke, I tuned in frequently to rock and roll football, yes. It's not that I don't have another radio, it's just that I always seem to be driving at that time on a Saturday afternoon. One of my good friends, Audrey, lived on Oak Park Estate and knew Wrighty from school days. I'll have to get some stories off her later. You know, I love his story of struggling through education, running away from home at 14 and not getting into professional football until 22 from Sunday League. It's incredible. Imagine that nowadays, graduating through Sunday League. No chance. They pick you up at 9 and put a price tag on you. You know, he signed for my local team, Crystal Palace, although I don't often see him play, unfortunately, in 1985, and stayed there for 6 years until Arsenal snapped him up for 2.1 million in 91.
The Arsenal, if you don't mind.
The Arsenal, sorry. The Arsenal. Did they have the Arsenal on their badge then, Dave?
Not allowed. The chairman took it off because he wanted us to be at the start of the alphabet so people would find us more easily. There you go. Henry Norris.
Quite easy to find, isn't it? Let's walk out the tube station, turn right. Ian Wright, he scored a hat-trick on his debut against Southampton. Do you remember that, Dave?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Golden Boot winner, and he helped England qualify for the World Cup in 1998, scoring in that 4-0 win over Moldova, but missed the final with a dodgy hamstring. Oh. Ian Wright, you're great and well done for rearing two sons successfully into the world of professional football. I love watching your dad's celebrations on telly, especially when Sean scored for England. Finally, on the Twitter front, one footballer everyone should follow. For laughs, this fella loves anything silly and fun, which is great. Top Irish lad who plays for Reading and is an ambassador for the Prince's Trust. He's always tweeting about helping charity and stuff like that. So I'll expect a sponsor from you for my London Marathon next year. Noel Hunt, man after my own heart.
Fair play, Noel.
I have to give a shout out to Doug Simon, who is devoted to his beloved Crystal Palace. Doug has asked me ever so nicely, 2 weeks in a row, to put a mention out about Palace beating United, them of potential Europa League glory in the Carling Cup. Bloody hell, well done Palace, that's something, travelling 4 odd hours depending on the traffic up there, working your backsides off to get to the semi. I know I'm a bit late in acknowledging your glory, but you're still celebrating, surely, and damn right. For all you Palace fans who are interested in injuries, and anyone who's interested in injuries, I've got a great interview up on the Hot Scores website too, with your physio, Alex Manos. Right, other sites that I've been browsing in the football world, worldsoccer.com, absolutely brilliant, and the publication is fantastic. It's a must-have subscription for Christmas. From Brazil to Bratislava, they've got it covered. Now I know that Hot Scores is getting a nice little following stateside from my nocturnal Twitter activities. So for all of you interested in all things USA, get onto socceramerica.com. Excellent for men's, women's and youth football. Women take pride and place on the front page mentions, and it's not just token results. Hear that, Britain? Right, my final cyber recommendation comes in the form of midfielddynamo.com. It's great fun. They have features on ugly footballers, the best and worst transfers that never were, soccer slang and lots more. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to sign off from another week from your all-new hot scores. Quick hi to Bryce11 and Jam_Scott. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tweet me and subscribe on the YouTube channel. This week, my hag is Anna of Com's worst enemy from Shipwrecked. This week on Hot Scores, I look at the European... get a grip. Disgusting one wants to know what I think would happen to the European... Disgusting one wants to know what I think would happen to the European...
You've never seen that word before?
European.